So we've been checking in with our CTV News bureaus across the country for a closer look at the top local stories for each region. And this morning, CTV Ottawa chief anchor Graham Richardson is joining us this morning with stories about transit troubles, tornadoes, and a house explosion. Good morning to you, Graham.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
So Ottawa's LRT went online in 2019, and I feel like we've had this topic in the top 10 every year since. The goal was initially to make life easier for Ottawa residents, but it's been really anything but a big headache for the city ever since. Tell us about the LRT's problems this year.
This year, it was almost worse than ever, Anne-Marie.
Wow.
Middle of the summer, the shutdown this time, I noted it as the worst because they stopped the system with passengers on it and told everybody to get out, and they locked the doors.
Wow.
That is not a sign that the system is functioning properly. For those around the country, this is a city of 1 million people plus. We should have had trains a long time ago. They've essentially reoriented the transit system to feed into the LRT, kind of like a subway. That's how hard they were running it. That's how many people they thought could be carried on. And I think over the years, they've now realized they were asking the system to do too much. There were a lot of flaws. This particular one, just for your own people around the country who haven't been watching this carefully, they essentially shut it down for almost a month over a technical issue, alignment of the rails, and with the cars and the bogie, there was a bit of grease on an axle, and they thought that might look like a problem that was connected to an earlier derailment and a safety issue. So they shut the whole thing down, more frustration, express buses. Without the pandemic and the lack of commuters downtown, because so many people continue to work from home,
right,
this system would be crippled. So it came back smaller, shorter. It stayed out of the news since then, which is good news. But there are still continuing problems with Ottawa's LRT.
And I imagine you're going to be reporting on them well into 2024. Graham, your second story. You know, Taylor Swift had that song everybody was singing, Cruel Summer. Well, she could have been singing about Ottawa because you had some pretty cruel weather there this summer.
Around the country, I think people are paying more attention to weather, Anne-Marie, and I think they're noticing it because of climate change and some of the extreme weather we're experiencing. Yes, and so we're in the same boat. 2 tornadoes touching down. Tornadoes are not unusual in this part of the country, but we had a very serious one in 2019, and then 2 in the Barrhaven neighborhood, which is a suburb, about a path of 5 kilometers, 120 homes damaged.
These pictures are incredible,
some
Graham,
of the video,
by the way.
Yeah, and it's an EF1. You're probably looking at that doorbell camera, and it's about a minute long, and it just shows the power, and if you actually look closely, a pedestrian running out of the way as a tree came down and debris everywhere. Luckily, nobody seriously hurt, but it seems every summer, and for whatever reason this summer, Anne-Marie, every Thursday, there was crazy weather in Ottawa. This was the peak of it, and people wondering, when is it going to stop? Bring on winter, because the summer was pretty crazy here.
You know, if people in Ottawa are saying bring on winter, that summer was definitely very crazy. Last story, Graham, a home exploded in the suburb of Orleans back in February. You know, I know in a local newsroom, when something like that happens, it is all hands on deck, everything pivots. Walk us through what happened that day and how this story unfolded.
Our reporter, Katie Griffin, lives in the area, and her home shook. People reported that insulation was raining down several kilometers away. So the reason I picked this story, obviously the devastation, 4 homes completely destroyed, 12 people injured, a baby narrowly missing a collapsed ceiling because the baby was sleeping with her parents, right? So this is the kind of thing that happened. The reason I pick it, though, it speaks to 2 issues. The person who pleaded guilty to doing this was addicted to fentanyl, was going into construction sites and stealing hot water tanks and selling them on the black market. He admitted to disconnecting them and leaving the gas lines running. So this is a story that has wide implications, massive devastation. Number one, because of the scourge of the drug addiction that is racking all of our entire country. And number two, the housing issue, because all of these people, some of them just closed on their homes, and they are severely damaged, and people are still struggling with it. So that explosion back in February, as you said, caused us to go all out And people are still dealing with that terrible situation. And the explosion, you could just see it. It looked like almost a bomb went off. It was just really, really terrible.
Yeah, the pictures are one thing, but as you point out, Graham, the story behind the story, also fascinating as well. We always love speaking with you here at Your Morning. Graham, thanks for coming on, and Happy New Year to you and the rest of the team there at CTV News in Ottawa.
Same to you, Anne-Marie, anytime.
Have a good show tonight.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.